Today I would like to show you this handcrafted ship. This was made by my husband in our garage in the span of about a day or less. It's a multi-purpose ship. It also could be from a number of time periods, dependent upon how you'd like to use it. My husband plays Dungeons and Dragons, and he's also a great artist, in my opinion. In this case, this ship will most often be used as a vessel from medieval times. This will fit with the storylines of the Dungeons and Dragons characters. Now, one day, he picked up a cardboard box from the garage, and that evening, there was a work of art just sitting there. He's a total maker, which is something I can relate to, and he is pretty fast at it. So I will show you some of the features in detail that went into this afternoon project. I am pretty impressed by it, and I think that you may be as well. We'll go ahead and begin here at the bow of the ship. This particular area features a figurehead of a dragon, and it's made of brass, complete with riveting down the sides. If you look below, you'll see some rust starting to form, where the water has started to affect the rivets at the bottom. Here at the top deck, you can see detailing in the wood, a nice bit of dimension brought on by brushes and acrylic paint. This gives the wood a worn appearance. And beneath we've got more of the same, as the second floor is a room that can be used for multi-purpose. Now, this can be lodging, as there is some privacy, but it can also be used to store items or many other uses. As you can see, the top slides right back into place. This is one of the best features, in my opinion, is the fact that there are many layers and pieces, and they are very symmetrical and put together. Here in the center, you may notice these two large towers. And the towers are also painted with acrylic paint, made to have a weathered look. These towers had many functions for someone on a ship. Here at the top, you'll notice me pointing out the crow's nest, which is the platform atop each tower. The crow's nest was very helpful in searching for enemies or looking for danger at sea, such as large rocks or other things in the way. Perhaps an iceberg. Perhaps you were using a spyglass to look for land. These particular crow's nests are connected by a rope ladder featuring toothpicks and some handy hot glue gun work. Notice the staircases in each corner, complete with toothpick handrails, and they each have their own textures, which is not to be overlooked in a project such as this one. I love the wooden doors and the detail here. Each of the wooden doors leads to the level below, and the details in a project like this one tend to make the whole thing way more interesting. Depth and dimension can really lend a lot to this type of project. For example, this worn pattern on this flooring gives a realistic feel, and the weathered look contributes to the medieval theme. Between the towers, you'll notice a hatch here, complete with wire covering. This is a simple cargo hatch. It leads to a larger room below, and I will show you that one here in a bit. But just to explain, the cargo hatch will hold boxes of items that will be lowered from a crane down through the open end to the lower level, which I will share with you in just a moment. But basically, the level below is where all of the supplies for the entire crew will be held. So this hatch plays an important role in any of the ship's voyages. The cargo could be anything from spices to jewels to animal skins, dependent upon what type of ship it was. Here we have the stern of the ship. This little detail is a podium stand for the captain to use. He will navigate from this area, and like before, this portion is removable, and it's revealing the captain's quarters below. So if we peek inside, we see a bright, colorful rug on the floor. I personally like to think that the captain received it as a gift. There's also a large table for writing and reading letters. This map is one of my absolute favorite features. There's a wall in the center of the room, and his lodgings come complete with a chest for holding clothing and other personal belongings. And there you have the captain's quarters in a nutshell. Another one of my favorite features is this weapons rack. In fact, it may be my absolute favorite. It is fully stocked here, complete with clubs and spears, because you never know when you'll need to reach for a spear. Am I right? So, as promised, let's take a peek at the lower level. Same as earlier, just the lower levels of the lodging and extra storage area. And I wish I had the good tingly audio to share with you here, but next video, I promise. Mainly, I want to point out some different areas to you gently and perhaps count some of the divots in the wood like this one. This is the kitchen, and there's a small kitchen area complete with fresh veggies. There's even a stovetop area for the cook of the ship. You can see that the floor is covered in food and other mess, and these two tables to the side are for eating meals. Here's a little trap door leading down to the lower level as well. These little details are what make this project fun. On this lower level, we have a special room that contains 2 beds and a dividing wall. In fact, it's more like 2 rooms. Now, depending upon which era we are in, these beds will be occupied by A-listers of the time period. It could be royalty or a relative of someone important. If there is no celebrity clientele aboard the ship at the time, those beds would go to the first mate, who is the officer ranking just below the captain, and the officer just below him. And similar to the other rooms, they contain chests for important items or personal belongings. Now I will show you a couple of items used in Dungeons and Dragons gameplay. Again, this video was initially recorded with lots of nice sounds to layer on top of my voice. I'm sorry it did not work out as planned. But here is a cup with an embossed design on the front. It's a picture of a 20-sided die. Until very recently, I had no idea that 20-sided dice were even in existence. But as you can see, there are many different varieties in this cup. They were fairly inexpensive, purchased through Amazon. Perhaps I can get some links for you. And finally, this guy is a character used in the gameplay. And I believe that these characters are referred to as minis. I could be wrong, but I think I'm right. And this one in particular has kind of a gruesome name. I believe it's Crusher of Skulls or something similar to that. So, guys, that in a nutshell is a little afternoon project my husband made. He has since made a few other similar creations, and they're even cooler if you ask me. Of course, I am a bit biased. Sweet dreams.